Hello everyone and welcome to my channel where we explore all things cooking and kitchen. I'm your host Chiquita Michelle. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be making frozen ground beef. Reason why I actually decided on this one is because me as a working mom and a mom of 3, I think everybody can relate at some point that we've had that incident where we've forgotten to take something out. And so I figured in that sense that I would kind of show everybody that the Instapot has a lot of great functions and giving you the opportunity to do just what I'm talking about in wise of being able to cook something that's frozen in a short amount of time versus trying to throw it in the microwave or throw it in the sink to thaw or the fridge. So it definitely does make life easier for us, which I think is most important because everybody has a busy schedule. So anyways, to get into it, I am not going to be using my trivet, and the reason why I say that is because the Instapot does come with a trivet. Everybody's going to have one if you decide to jump in on the Instapot gang. But when it comes to making ground beef, I personally don't use it just because it sticks and your ground beef eventually breaks through and falls at the bottom, and then you just have more mess to clean up. So we're not going to use that today. So anyways, here I have 2 pounds of ground beef. I always separate my meat when I'm cooking. I tend to buy my ground beef in bigger packages just because life is easier. And then I separate them into what I need them to be. So with that sense, we'll go ahead and jump on in. Let's get started. All right guys, so I have my 1 cup of water that I'm gonna throw in at the bottom of my Instapot. And then we're gonna go ahead and jump into pulling out my ground beef. Now, I will mind you, it is frozen. Oh, just a little bit enough to where I can actually throw it in here. Now, I want to make sure I remind you guys, when you are working with any type of raw meat, make sure that you thoroughly wash your hands while you're messing with it. So my suggestion would be definitely to make sure that you wash your hands afterwards and in between any time you're working with any type of raw meat so you don't have contamination. Alrighty, so now if you don't have, I'm going to be using taco seasoning packets, but if you don't have any, you can easily go ahead and use some seasoning salt, some salt and pepper, whichever preference works best for you. Now for this one, we are going to be cooking it because we have 2 pounds of ground beef in here. We're going to make sure that we turn it on pressure cook. Always, always, always make sure that you close the seal on the top. And then we're gonna go ahead and make sure that it's on more because that's the highest function on the setting. And we're just gonna go ahead and bring it down to 35 minutes. And we'll come back in 35 minutes and see where we are. Alright guys, so I went ahead and moved my Instapot over and out of the frame so we can work on making my homemade salsa and my homemade guacamole. Now here I have my garlic salt, my garlic powder, and then I have some cayenne pepper here for a little bit of heat for me. I did go ahead and use a can of tomatoes. Yes guys, I know I cheated a little bit, but that's okay. We have some lime juice here as well. And then of course, all of our other sides that we're gonna need for the guacamole and the salsa. So I went ahead and already cut my onions. Nobody wants to see me cry, have an ugly cry. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my tomatoes and just sloppily put them in here. All right, to make a mess. Get that out of the way here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take half of these onions, place them in here as well. Now remember I said guys, you can add as many onions as you want. It's really up to you. I just try to sneak them in for my kids. Well, my younger kids. My oldest doesn't really mind. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our jalapeno here, slice that as well. just depends on you, if you like heat or not. Like I said, you don't have to use as many jalapenos, and you definitely don't have to use any cayenne pepper. It just factors on what your preference is. So I always do add about a half of cilantro. And it's just gonna get blended up really well when I throw this in here. And I'll go ahead and mix this. Now, if you have a mixer that's larger, I would definitely recommend using it. I just don't want to run the blender right now. So once we've got that, we can go ahead and plug this in. Now, I haven't added my seasonings yet, but I just want to kind of get this mixed a little bit before I start with adding the seasonings. All right. Now you see we've got a really great texture already, and we haven't even added any of the lime juice or other seasonings just yet. So, okay, so now if you're one of those people, I would say maybe about a half a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper, but again, it's not mandated. And then I'm going to go ahead and take 1/4 teaspoon of the garlic powder, as well as another 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt. Now, it's always better to make sure that you under season. Just going to shake this here and go ahead and take a teaspoon and add it, a little over a teaspoon. We'll add 2. As you can see, you've got perfectly great looking salsa. I'm gonna try this, see how it tastes. That way, if you need to add, you can. That is amazing. It's got just about the right amount of heat for me, but the flavor is just amazing. All right, now that we're all done with the salsa and I've had that set aside and put away, we are gonna go ahead and knock out our guacamole. Now I will go ahead and slice this down the middle here. Now I haven't added my seasoning again, like I said, guys, just to make sure we get it mixed. What we're gonna do is take a little bit of this lime juice and add it to the very bottom. And that's gonna be about 3 teaspoons. What we don't want is to have your guacamole when it's runny. So that's not what we're going for here. We're gonna go ahead and take that 1/4 teaspoon again and add that in here. Garlic salt. And then we're gonna take 1/4 of our garlic powder, using another 1/4 teaspoon, like I said, and add that in there as well. Now again, if you like a little bit of heat, you can most certainly add some of the cayenne pepper. I'm actually not going to do that one for this one because my kids will eat it without it. So, but I will go ahead and add a little bit of a jalapeno. It's definitely not required, but it's ultimately your preference on what you like. All right. See? That's what it's looking like right now, so we're just going to go ahead and try it and see how it tastes. Tastes amazing. Has great flavors. It's not too mushy. It definitely has a great texture as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get this put away. And now we're gonna go ahead and check our ground beef and see where we are on the ground beef. Alrighty, now that it's all done, we're gonna go ahead and make sure we don't seal it. Be very careful when you're opening these lids because that steam can definitely get you burned. Alrighty. Right here. As you can see, we've got our ground beef. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drain this out and then I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna get this mashed up here. You can see that you had those 2 pounds of ground beef. For those busy people, whether it be working or parents, and we have ground beef in 30 minutes that was completely frozen solid and fully cooked. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like it, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future content. And if you have suggestions on something you'd like to see, leave a comment down below. For more great meal ideas, you can follow me on Instagram at Kita in the Kitchen. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. And remember, there's always a masterpiece that you can create in your kitchen. Okay, so I went ahead and moved my ground beef out of the Instapot. So, in Kanye, that's it. Perfect right there.